Hey everybody, this is John the Other, obviously, and I'm going to kind of be talking about the United States, the American Democratic Party, in a couple of different ways. I mean, not just the party, but a few things related to it that have been kind of, that I think I understand, but that the answers are so ugly that I reject them, and there must be a better answer. So I'm going to walk you through my thinking, and hopefully you can point out where I'm wrong. The first is they have just picked Joe Biden officially as the Democratic candidate. This is the guy the party has decided is their best chance, their best choice to, I guess, try to win their way into the White House. And this is a source of some puzzlement and concern for me. And I'll tell you why. Setting aside the fact that Biden is in cognitive decline, he's clearly senile, he doesn't really know if he's coming or going anymore. Let's just push that to the side and look at Joe Biden as if he is still younger and mentally healthy and knows, which way is up. This is the guy in the year now, 2020, in coming up to the election in November, who in every photo opportunity that I've ever seen him, every interview, anytime he's interacting with the public, he creeps on people's children. He puts his hands on their children. He sniffs their hair. He gets too close to female reporters and female staff members. He's like, okay, maybe in 30 years ago that wasn't acceptable as it's not acceptable now, but everything was a lot looser and people would just allow that to go on. I'm really puzzled how the guy who's like, that's what he's known for. That's his one of his signature personal characteristics is he gets way too close to people. He puts his hands all over people. He sniffs little children's hair. Like, it's a little off-putting. And the Me Too movement, which has been raging and destroying everybody's lives, is a production of the left. Well, Democratic left, Joe Biden, how is this their pick? I don't get it. I don't understand. Now, that's assuming that Joe Biden is mentally competent. That's the complete undamaged Joe Biden, which is not the guy we got anymore. Now we have this mentally decrepit, senile, this guy who is very, very clearly in cognitive decline. Never mind that that's going to make him not capable of running the country, not really capable of handling the stress and the pressure and the brutality that you put yourself through when you run in a presidential electoral race. It seems very clear to me that because he is in a state of mental decline and mental weakness, and that this really isn't the real Joe Biden anymore. This is just a guy who is very, very easy to manipulate by his party, which is why they picked him, because he's the softest guy, right? Not that they want a soft guy, but they want a guy who hasn't got his own will anymore, who hasn't got the strength, the mental faculties anymore to resist grotesque, sinister, and cynical manipulation by his party to feed the agenda of the party through the guy. And that seems to me, well, not only unbelievably cynical, like cynical at a level that it's hard to fathom, but cynical in view of the public, like in bright light of day that everybody can see it. So is the Democratic Party assuming that the general American public who might have voted Democrat are as cynical as they are? Or are they assuming everybody's too stupid to see that ploy being played? This casual manipulation of a person who should be, taken care of instead of used as a blunt trauma instrument to batter their way into the White House. The other part is that it's extraordinarily cruel. Like, it's actually shockingly cruel to use a person, a senior guy who's in his, fading intellect, fading mind, to put him through that seems extraordinarily viciously cruel. And that also is right in broad view of the public, like everybody can see it. So do the Democratic Party assume that nobody else can see that I've got X-ray vision? Or are they just assuming everybody's okay with that? I don't know the answer to that. I mean, there is an answer. It's a real ugly answer, and I don't like it. Anyway, moving along, we come to the pick of the running mate. Well, Kamala Harris, one of the problems is that everybody's saying that she's the first black vice presidential running mate, but she's not black. So, I mean, are they stupid? Are they confused? Or are they actually so racist that they don't know the difference, or that they don't care that she's a Tamil, which is a sect from India or Pakistan? She's not black. She's a Tamil. Now, I don't particularly give a shit what anybody's ethnicity is. It's kind of the least interesting thing about them, unless you're interested in their food or, ethnic clothing or something, and you happen to, be into that. Like, I don't give a shit what color you are. I care what kind of person you are. Are you a douchebag? Are you nice? Are you interesting? Are you intelligent? Can you hold a decent conversation? Do you have policies that I agree with? I don't care what your color is. But they're taking someone who's Tamil and saying, this is the first black first lady, or potential, not first lady, first black VP. But she's not black. So that seems unbelievably racist. Or are they just, is it cynicism again? I don't get it. And again, that's in front of the general public. So, same set of questions. The other problem with her, one of the other problems with her is that in the Democratic Party debates between the different candidates, Kamala Harris, I keep wanting to call her Tamala. She's Tamil, but her name is Kamala Harris, was extraordinarily vicious and cruel and disrespectful of Joe Biden. Like, she was really nasty. And why would he pick someone who was as vicious and mean-spirited as that as his running mate? Who clearly has no respect for him as a colleague or a fellow member of the party, which suggests to me that he didn't pick her. That what we're seeing is the puppeteering of a fragile and mentally, cognitively in decline, decrepit old man, that the pick was made for him and he's manipulated into that, which again, there's the cynicism and the evil, the extraordinarily cruel thing to do to somebody in cognitive decline. The other problem, or one of the other problems with her, is that in the era of Black Lives Matter, which is supposedly a protest against police violence, police corruption, and racial profiling and mistreatment of the black community by the police, Kamala Harris is a crooked prosecutor. She's a crooked cop. She's a bent cop. She's crooked. She's corrupt. She was putting people in jail, holding people in jail past the end of their sentence so she could have free labor. I think there's a word for that. It starts with S and ends with Avery. And suppressed exculpatory evidence of people on death row. So, how is that your pick? Like, in an age when police corruption or police mistreatment of the black community is such a red-hot, flaming, white-hot supernova of an issue, why would a crooked prosecutor be the one you put in the running mate? I don't get it. I don't understand. Again, the only thing I can come up with is really abject cynicism on the part of the Democratic Party, but it's cynicism not happening behind closed doors. It's happening in public view. Everybody can see everything I can see. I don't have X-ray vision. Anyway, the next problem is, and this is kind of a long-term thing, is to do with Che Guevara. Now, I know it seems like, what the hell are you talking about Che Guevara? I thought you were talking about the Democratic Party. Che Guevara is this iconic beret-wearing freedom fighter from communist revolution in Cuba, who young people, particularly liberal or left-leaning young people, like to have t-shirts or have posters and stuff, and he's like this symbolic thing that everybody likes to put on their t-shirt. The problem is, though, if you actually know anything about Ernesto Che Guevara, he was a absolutely murderous, psychopathic, vicious killer. He was like whenever I see that t-shirt, it's like Charles Manson on your t-shirt, or Adolf Hitler, or some combination of the two. And in particular, he really liked to torture and murder gay people, or torture and murder children in front of their families before then murdering the families. And I never understood that. How is it that the supposedly egalitarian, loving, accepting of gay and lesbian and transgender and all the different stuff, has this vicious, psychopathic mass murderer as their icon. I didn't ever get it. Now, I've kind of got a theory, and it's a very, very ugly theory that I don't like, but I'm going to tell you what it is. Getting a little older and learning more about the social justice philosophy, which is really informed greatly by Marxism, I actually know that social justice warriors, one of the reasons that they're against so many things that we would think of as basic civil rights and basic human rights, like freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of conscience, those things they're actually against. And they don't want you to be able to articulate your own thoughts. They want to shut you down and silence you, is because it's not that they don't like what your ideas are, they actually don't believe in discourse. Their concept is that all differences in the world are simply struggles over pure power, that the entire world reduces down to struggles over power. Who has power over who? That's how they see the world, which is why they don't want to let you speak, because letting you speak to them is just a tool to take power over the other person. So by whatever means necessary, that's another one of their slogans, they want to have power over you. Understanding the motive behind their opposition to so many things that we think of as human and civil rights, then I begin to realize why a murderous, vicious killer, who in particular liked to murder gay people, might be seen as a heroic figure, because he was articulating this raw, vicious, brutal, and very direct power every time he murdered somebody. So maybe that explains philosophically why a figure that I equate to about some sort of a cross between Charles Manson and Adolf Hitler would be seen as a heroic figure by the left. But that's a really, really ugly answer, and I hope I'm wrong. There's one more thing to mention here. A couple of weeks ago I was watching C-SPAN, and I was watching a congressional hearing, and they were grilling some high-ranking military guy, a general or an admiral or something like that. I honestly can't remember what his precise rank was and which branch of the military he was, but it was a bunch of senatorial investigation hearing, hammer and tongs going at this guy about acquisitions of equipment and the decisions that he'd made in acquiring either planes or ships or something like that. I don't remember what. And being very rude and nasty about it, like imputing to him that he had, motives of racism or motives of misogyny or something, or like some kind of bullshit that they were trying to lay on this high-ranking military guy. And he was being very, very patient and explaining things in simple terms. But you could tell he was like, he'd had about enough of this. He wasn't going to let that change the way he responded. And the chairman of this committee grilling this guy, when the camera panned around, you could see the senators. The chairman was Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And I thought that was really, really peculiar, because Debbie Wasserman Schultz was a member of the Democratic Party, the Democratic National Convention, which helped to rig the Democratic primary in favor of Hillary at the last election cycle. I mean, this is not like a conspiracy theory, and this is not breaking news. The Democratic primary was rigged in favor of Hillary at the last election, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz was the fraudster who helped rig it, who was the architect of that rigging. And this is well known by, I'm not even an American and I know this. And yet, here's Debbie Wasserman Schultz leading a congressional committee going hammer and tongs at some military guy over equipment acquisitions. Well, how is it that a fraudster, a person known to help rig an election inside your party, still has a position inside your party? Like, if you discover someone is a fraudster, a grifter, a scammer, engages in extremely unscrupulous, unethical, and criminal behavior like rigging the party primary, how is it, once that's discovered, that person still has a place in your organization? Unless the nature of the organization is entirely cynical and criminal to begin with, and it's just, well, as long as you're pointing in the right direction, we don't care how you get there. Yeah, that's a kind of a burning question. And remember, C-SPAN, all this stuff, it's all public. Like, this is, the public can see this. Are they so cynical that they think nobody is paying attention? Are they so cynical that they think the American public is as cynical as that too? I don't get it. Am I just naive? Did I get to this advanced, decrepit old age myself being this naive? Am I going to have my illusions about integrity shattered? Oh, Lord have mercy. Putting all these things together, and a lot more that I haven't bothered to cover here, I was going to suggest that it's really hard to see this political party, the Democratic Party, as something other than a party of either malice or evil. But, I was sitting down in the editing suite and I realized the term that I'm actually looking for isn't the biblical word evil, the religious use of the word. The actual proper term is chaotic evil, which is a complete super nerd gaming term from tabletop role-playing games of the 1980s. I think the Democratic Party embodies chaotic evil. Please tell me where I'm getting something wrong. And anyway, thanks very much for watching, and as always, have a lovely, lovely day.